Africa.
We got you updated. This is Radio Imanzi News in English.
You are tuned to Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. President Paul Kagame this afternoon received a delegation from Business Professionals Network. The National Bank of Rwanda has maintained the key repo rate at which it lends to commercial banks. Palestinian street artists paid tribute to veteran Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh by painting her portrait on a mural in Gaza City. News in detail. President Paul Kagame this afternoon received a delegation from Business Professionals Network. This comes a day after the organization celebrated its 10th anniversary, during which they have supported close to 300 entrepreneurs in over 20 industries. The BPN Rwanda program is seen by many as unique in that it focuses on mindset change of entrepreneurs rather than solely concentrating on technical training. The firm has consistently built a close relationship with business owners through mentorship and networking. In her remarks during the celebration, Beata Habyarimana, Minister of Trade and Commerce, stressed that BPN Rwanda has over the decade overseen the support of over 5,979 jobs and created 5,889 jobs, which she said is a testament to the hard work and determination of the initiative and capacity of business in the market. The Minister of Education says Rwanda has placed great importance on improving the access and quality of its education, and it is formulated in Rwanda's Vision 2050 and other associated implementation plans. She was speaking at the International Conference and Exhibition on ICT for Education taking place in Kigali. The conference is under the theme A New Purpose for Education. The minister said COVID-19 has had socio-economic consequences in all countries of the world. While remote learning solutions were easier to implement in developed countries with the necessary infrastructure in place, school closures and continued learning have posed a big challenge in Africa. The conference is an opportunity to promote the use of ICTs for improving access to relevant information, education, and training in Africa to support sustainable education solutions to drive economic and social prosperity of our respective countries. Still on matters of education, Rwanda's publisher of children's books in Nabu, in partnership with HP Technologies, have launched a creative lab aimed at equipping children with skills to be able to read and tell their stories in a digital way. Nabu is a digital reading app and mother tongue publishing platform making literacy accessible to children globally. The new lab is equipped with the latest HP hardware and creative software that will empower young aspiring Rwandan artists with technological know-how to develop their community through sharing their own stories to the rest of the world using technology. According to NABU CEO Daniela Evans, the new project targets children from 10 years old and below, where they will be learning through one-on-one sessions to build a third generation of creative artists. A driving test candidate and driving school instructor were arrested in Guamagana district for allegedly attempting to offer a bribe of 400,000 Rwandan francs to police officers. Lambert Kora had failed a driving test when he, together with Neonita Silvestre, a driving school instructor in Kayonza district, reached out to two police officers who were supervising the tests with the bribe. Superintendent of Police Hamdun Kwizeimana, the police spokesperson for the Eastern Province, said police officers reported to their superiors about the criminal attempt by the two men, and they were arrested red-handed and handed over to the Rwanda Investigation Bureau at Kigabiro Station for further investigation.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
Guinea's legislative body has announced there will be a 3-year transition period before civilian rule is restored, defying regional partners who have called for a swifter timetable following a coup. The 36-month transition, decided at a legislative plenary meeting, is slightly shorter than the 39 months which the ruling military chief had previously announced. United States President Joe Biden appealed to world leaders to commit to a renewed international effort to confront the COVID-19 pandemic. He called for the collected efforts as the world leaders held a summit to discuss efforts to end the COVID-19 pandemic and prepare for future health threats. The summit is aimed to build on commitments made at the first global summit in September, including getting more people vaccinated, sending tests and treatments to highest risk populations, expanding protections to healthcare workers, and generating financing for pandemic preparedness. North Korea imposed a nationwide lockdown today to control its first acknowledged COVID-19 outbreak. The outbreak forced leader Kim Jong-un to wear a mask in public, likely for the first time since the start of the pandemic. The president said it was crucial to control transmissions and eliminate the infection source as fast as possible, while also easing inconveniences to the public caused by the virus controls. He insisted the country will overcome the outbreak because its government and people are united as one. Palestinian street artists paid tribute to veteran Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh by painting her portrait on a mural in Gaza City. Abu Akleh, who was killed a day earlier while covering a raid in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, was among Arab media's most prominent figures and widely hailed for her bravery and professionalism. In the hours after her death, young Palestinians described Abu as an inspiration, especially to women, many of whom were motivated to pursue journalism because of her. The Ministry of Transport announced in a statement that a passenger plane carrying 11 people crashed in the forest in central Cameroon. Part of the ministry's statement reads that air traffic services lost radio contact with the aircraft and the plane was then located in the forest some 150 kilometers northeast of Yaoundé. It was the first major air catastrophe reported in Cameroon since 2007 when a Kenya Airways plane carrying 114 people crashed after takeoff from Douala Airport. Football greats Ricardo Kaka and Ike Casillas have begun touring the world with the original FIFA World Cup trophy. The global journey kicked off in Dubai today and will have the two soccer icons visit all the remaining 31 countries that have qualified for the 2022 FIFA World Cup to be staged in Qatar in November this year. Kaka won the World Cup in Brazil in 2002, while Casillas was part of the star-studded Spain side that conquered the world in 2010. Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi. The National Bank of Rwanda has maintained the key repo rate at which it lends to commercial banks at 5% and said domestic economic growth is likely to slow down. The central bank rate was already increased in February in anticipation of higher prices. The governor of Central Bank, John Rwangombwa, said there was low production in the agriculture season A, hence leading to the continued rise in commodity prices. The decision to maintain the central bank rate comes in the wake of rising prices of goods and services on the local market, with the April inflation rate increasing to 9.9%, well above the central bank's upper band for 2022. The governor said that the bank was working with stakeholders to limit the impact of external pressures on Rwanda's purchasing power, and that the Monetary Policy Committee will continue to monitor domestic and global economic developments to inform future decisions. The Minister of Finance said Ghana is committed to managing its debt without assistance from the International Monetary Fund. The minister expressed confidence that government measures were moving the country in the right direction. According to government data, Ghana's public debt, which was about 77% of its gross domestic product at the end of 2021, drove the country into crisis. Due to this, the government has put in place several measures aimed at generating more revenue to strengthen the economy. The controversial electronic levy and the cuts in the salaries of public officials are all part of the measures to restore a depreciating local currency and reassure investors. The Rwanda Stock Exchange market reports. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 11,566,500 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in one deal on the fixed income market, while the equities market remained quiet. Bralirwa closed the counter at 160 Rwandan francs, Bank of Kigali at 260 Rwandan francs, I&M Bank at 43 Rwandan francs, Simerwa at 120 Rwandan francs, MTN Rwanda at 179 Rwandan francs, Equity Bank at 440 Rwandan francs, Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs, National Media Group at 1,200 Rwandan francs, Uchumi Supermarket at 104 Rwandan francs, and RH Buffalo closed the counter at 526 Rwandan francs. The currency market review of today. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.7 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 8.8 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.43 and the selling price was 0.44. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.281 and the selling price was 0.287. The Burundian franc buying price was 0.49 and the selling price was 0.5. The US dollar buying price was 1,010 and the selling price was 1,030 Rwandan francs. The British pound buying price was 1,234 and the selling price was 1,258. The euro buying price was 1,063 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,084 Rwandan francs. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition.